Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of the Behind the Boards podcast series. On today's episode, we will be looking back at the St. Thomas Academy game, which the Fire tied 3-3. We will also be taking some game previews, looks at the Hill Murray and Hutchinson games this week, as well as speaking with captain, defender number 11, Luke Roloffs. After that, we will also be taking a look at the JV season and looking forward for them and some hopes for the guys on that team, as well as speaking to some of the team leaders, Johnny Hussey, Jack Barth, and Abe Melek. First off, on today's episode, looking at the St. Thomas Academy game, obviously St. Thomas beat the Fire 7-0 in the first game of the season about a month ago, but the Fire really showed them up this time. St. Thomas went ahead 3-0 in the first period as Jackson Hallam had 3 assists. Of course, the Golden Knights draft pick, Jared Wright and Tommy Deverell, their other 2 captains, both had 2 points in that first period, as well as their big center, Tanner Brower, also getting a point. He's a big boy. He's about 6'4", 230. So Fire weren't quite able to figure out how to stop him all of them in the first. But after that first period, they really went on a roll. In the second period, Grant Limke got a goal off the assist from Joe Schmidt, the junior defender, and it was his actually first ever varsity point, so super awesome to see Joe get that point. Also, Spencer Lewin got the second assist in that. And in the third period, Luke Roloffs got a really, really sweet goal off the assist from Jacob McPartland and Noel Ron. All 3 of those captains got point in on that one. And then pretty late in the third, Charlie Lindbergh scored off the assist from Luke Roloffs and Nick Strand. And then obviously, went into overtime. No scoring in overtime in the 8-minute overtime period. So we had a tie, which if you're the Fire, that looks really good for you. Tying a team that's ranked 5th in the state, has most likely going to go to state, as their section isn't necessarily, the hardest, Section 3 AA. So St. Thomas Academy, really has some high hopes, and the fact that the Fire were able to tie them was huge. Looking forward to the Hill Murray game now on Wednesday. First ever matchup between Holy Family and Hill Murray, the 2 Catholic De La Sallian schools. This one's going to be a big one. It is on Ash Wednesday, so it is being labeled as the Ash Wednesday matchup at 7:15 at Aldridge Arena, and it should be a fun one. Hill Murray, of course, won state last year, but they did lose a lot of guys. Right now are ranked top 10 in the state, ranked at 6, with wins, big wins over Edina twice, shutting them out both times. As well as beating Moorhead, Matamidi twice, and Chaska. They also did lose to Grand Rapids 2-1, and then lost to St. Thomas Academy 6-5 in a big win about 2 weeks ago. Or big win for St. Thomas Academy, big loss for Hill Murray. About 2 weeks ago. And they really have their top 3 players, Joe Platichuk, Matthew Fleischacker, and Dylan Godbout. All 3 of them are committed, Platichuk and Godbout, to Wisconsin for hockey. And then Fleischacker is actually committed to Minnesota State Mankato for baseball. But even though he's committed for baseball, he is one heck of a hockey player. They have combined for 25 points so far this season. Platichuk with a goal, 10 assists. Fleischacker with a goal, 6 assists. Then Godbout with 3 goals, 4 assists. They're a pretty dangerous, first line up there. Axel Begley also, Axel Begley, who is 6'2", 190, and then Nick Mountain, he's actually a forward, 5'11", 200. Pretty defensive forward, though. You're not going to see him scoring a lot of goals, but he will lay some huge hits out there. This is just a big team. Even their goalie, Nick Erickson. Jack Erickson is his brother, Nick Erickson. He's even 6'3". He's huge. So far, he's putting up some pretty nice stats. 3 shutouts, 2 of them against, the Edina team who beat Eden Prairie, so that was really impressive, as well as a 1.49 goals against average and a .925 save percentage. Erickson's a good goalie. Last year, of course, backing up what many believed was the best goalie in the state. Remington Keppel backed him up, was labeled at the tournament as Janny, kind of imitating the Miracle on Ice backup goalie. So that was super funny to watch last year at the state tournament. But, they lost a lot of guys from last year. Of course, they lost Nick Pierre, their Wisconsin commit, who was one of the best sophomores in the state last year. They also lost Charlie Strobel, Henry Eischen, Seamus Reagan, and, a lot of guys that, were star players last year for this team. But losing Strobel and Pierre, who combined for 86 points last year, definitely was hard for this Hill Murray team at first. But, they put together a solid season. Again, a win over Moorhead, who's a strong team, as well as 2 shutout wins over Edina in back-to-back games about 3 weeks ago. Was really impressive from my perspective, at least. So that game will be on Wednesday. Looking forward also to the Hutchinson game on Friday. Obviously, this game was supposed to be the first game of the season, got delayed twice. So it was postponed until this Friday. Hutchinson, they are a Wright County team, so not known to be the biggest challenge for the Fire, but they've put together a pretty solid season, beating Delano 2-1 by only 1 goal, which is also how much the Fire beat Delano by, beating Mound, who has a really strong team this year, crushing Waconia, losing to Orono 3-0, and Orono's a team that gave Holy Family some problems, so to be within 3 goals at Orono was definitely good for the Tigers of Hutchinson. For them, really looking at their star players, they got 2 junior forwards, KK Starrett and Brady Knorr. Starrett has 12 points, Knorr has 11 points. That's a dangerous tandem up front for them, for sure. You're also going to have Ty Glasser kind of leaving that defensive core, the senior number 7 with 8 points so far. And then their goaltender, Austin Hagen, really anchors this team. So far, 5-2-1 on the season with a 1.76 goals against average and a .929 save percentage. Also, he did have a shutout against Wilmer. Wilmer, not the best team, but getting a shutout in any high school hockey game is pretty impressive, for sure. So, the Fire mentally going into that, they're just going to have to realize that, hey, these are 3 points on the board for the 3 points available for the conference title. So far, we have wins over Orono. We have wins over Delano, who are probably the 2 other big contenders besides Mound to go. And, Hutchinson is always a pretty good single-A team. They usually go to state. They've gone to state the past 2 years, I believe. They definitely don't go down without a fight in those state games. So usually the Fire play them early on in the season and usually beat them by a lot, as we did last year. I believe the score was 11-0. So that's just something that is kind of going to be new for the Fires, to play a Hutchinson team who is much more developed later on in the season. Although we are only halfway, it is going to be, different for them. To kind of give us a little bit more of insight on, these games and what it took to beat St. Thomas Academy.
Hey, how's it going, Dylan?
Good, man. How are you?
Good.
Good stuff. All right. So a couple questions for you today. So first, what was the mood in the locker room after that first period of the STA game?
Yeah, so we were pretty mad that we came out against a top 5 team like that, and our coach obviously has high expectations for us. So he kind of let us have it after the first period and told us we had the chance to show how we can play, and that obviously wasn't displayed in the first. So yeah, we were pretty upset after the first.
Yeah, for sure. Second, what was the key to mounting that comeback?
Yeah, for sure. The key to coming back was playing for one another, playing within our system, not playing selfishly, and just playing how we know how to. We're a very good team and can be ranked right up there with the best teams in the state, if we play as a team and not selfishly.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And then looking forward to Wednesday, what are you guys expecting against Hill Murray? You know, they're not the same team as they were last year, but they're still a really good team. So what will you guys be expecting?
Yeah, obviously we're expecting the same kind of thing. They're ranked right up there too. They're a really solid team, and obviously they won state last year. And we're gonna have to bring that same intensity from the St. Thomas game that we showed in the rest of the game after the first period.
Yeah, and then what will be the keys to beating them?
Yeah, so like I said, we played really well in the second, third, and obviously overtime period of the St. Thomas game. We're just gonna have to bring that same kind of level of our game and play for one another and play unselfishly and try to pop a few behind them and grab a win.
Yeah, for sure. All right, thanks, man, for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. So that was our varsity segment of the show today. Next, we will have a little bit of a JV junior varsity segment. We will be doing this probably one or two other times this season. Just spread the love out a little bit to the JV guys. They've been working hard. And so far, 5-2-1 this season with huge wins over St. Thomas Academy and an Eden Prairie team who lots of those guys will be, playing at the top level next year. So 2 huge wins for them. They also lost to St. Thomas Academy another time. Then a loss to Delano, but 2 really hard-fought wins. And you can't blame the guys for those losses. So first we will be talking with sophomore forward, big, hard-hitting, but still scores all the time forward, Johnny Hussey. And now we have Johnny Hussey from the JV team on the phone.
What's up, guys? What's up, Dylan?
So, all right. So first off, what's propelled the JV team to be so good this season?
I really think everyone working together and the chemistry we have on this team is amazing. And everyone just kind of stepping up and doing their jobs and playing physical.
Yeah, for sure. And then what is the team goal by the end of the season?
I think we want to come out this year with a good record for starters and just really kind of getting everyone better and develop everyone kind of going towards next year.
Yeah, for sure.
But I really think the next game is kind of crucial to us having success the rest of the year.
Yeah, Hill Murray's going to be a good team because, and then also this JV team is pretty much going to be the varsity team next year with exception to Nick Blood, Jake Cameron, Mark Brown, and Ryder Ferguson. And Kian. So, and then finally, what's been your favorite part of the year or of the season so far?
Probably that first St. Thomas game. Yeah. That was really fun, and I thought we played really great as a team. And also, just kind of anytime all the guys are together, it's always a pretty fun time.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thank you, Johnny.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. And now we have Jack Barth also on the phone.
Hey, Dylan. Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, man, for sure. So, first off, you and Joe Schmidt coming in the season both were, third year on the team, veterans. And now that Joe is, playing a little bit more varsity, you're like the sole guy on the team. What kind of team role are you taking in the locker room this season?
I don't think anyone's particularly taking any roles. I think we're all just close people, close friends. We all like each other. Obviously as a veteran, you have to show the freshmen how stuff works in the locker room. How to do their responsibilities because there's responsibilities for freshmen, and that kind of falls on people like me, Abe, and Ireland, and we've been trying to do a good job in leading in that way, and I think we have. And I like really everyone on the team a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Second, what do you think was the strongest game that the JV team has played so far this season?
Definitely the first St. Thomas Academy game. They're one of the best JV teams in the state. We beat them. We played great the whole game. Our defense, our offense, we were rolling on every level that game. It helps to have Schugel and Schmidt, who we normally don't have. They're normally up with varsity. We had them that game, which was great. Added a ton to that game, and we all played good though. Best game of the year for sure.
Yeah, awesome. And then looking forward to next year, you're most likely going to be a top 4D on the team. Individually, what are your hopes and goals for next season?
We lose a lot of seniors next year, so I'm going to have to, it'll be hopefully my first year on that team, and I'll need to for sure step up. And I think we actually will have a ton of success next year. I think we're going to have a lot of skilled forwards, and I think we'll surprise a ton of people next year.
Yeah, 100%. All right, well, thank you, Jack, for being on the podcast today. On the phone.
I guess.
So first off, what's the biggest challenge, or what has been the biggest challenge for the JV team this season?
So far, we've had a lot of success as a team. Our only challenges really showed last game against St. Thomas. We just struggled to capitalize on opportunities and get pucks deep in the zone. But like I said, we've had a pretty successful season thus far.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. Second, what's the biggest difference, as you've played a couple varsity games this season, what's the biggest difference between varsity and JV?
It's a similar game. It's just everything elevated, bigger guys, faster, harder passes, better playmaking, just everything but elevated more as it's older guys, stronger, faster, more experience.
Yeah. And then finally, how do you feel the varsity team is going to do next season? There's a lot of seniors graduating. There'll still be some guys, like Nick Blood and Jake Cameron that'll be able to provide some leadership, but a lot of the JV guys will be getting a lot of varsity time next season. So what's kind of the expectations, and how do you feel the varsity team will do next season?
Yeah, so obviously, like you said, we're going to have a lot of new guys, and we'll have to look to the returners for some guidance and advice as to how to have a more successful season. But got a lot of hard workers coming up from JV, guys that are willing to, put it on the line for the boys. But we should have a pretty successful season.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, thanks for being on the podcast today.
Yep, no problem.
All right, see you, man. So that will be it for today's episode of the Behind the Boards podcast series. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Make sure to tune in next week. Thank you, everybody. God bless.